in 1, okay, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are live. Precious, you can copy the link. We are live now. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, I have 2 persons with us now. Let's just hold on a minute. Now we have 3. Now we have 3. Stephen, good evening. It's great to have you here tonight. Good evening, Stephen. You're welcome. If you can hear me loud and clear, please, you can just say hello in the comments, say hello in the chat. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's great to have you here tonight. It's great to have you here tonight. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's great to have you here tonight. Welcome to day 2 of the Creative Exodus 2026 experience. It's great to have you guys here tonight. It's great to have you. I can see Kayode. Good evening to you, Kayode. You're welcome. I can see Moyo. Good evening, Moyo. It's great to have you here. So please, let's share the link. Copy the link and go share. Share on your WhatsApp status. Share on your groups, your community. Just go ahead. Let's have it. Let's have it. Just in 1 minute. Let's get to 50. Let's keep sharing the link. Good evening, Damilola. You're welcome. It's great to have you here tonight. It's great to have you here. Good evening. Please, let's keep sharing the link. Share it on WhatsApp. Share it everywhere. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. My Oga, the one and only Victory. Good evening. You're welcome, sir. Okay. Good evening, guys. You're welcome. It's great to have you here tonight. Olamide, good evening. You're welcome. Let's keep sharing the link. Let's keep sharing the link. Let's keep sharing the link. Welcome to the Creative Exodus Day 2 experience. I'm glad to have you here tonight. It's great to have you here tonight. It's great to have you here tonight. It's great to have you here tonight. Of us. Why is this numbers moving slow tonight? Please keep sharing. Ishola says, Daddy PSM. Your PSM dad is here now. You're about to have a great time tonight. Okay, so without delaying or taking so much time, I want us to start as soon as possible tonight. So I'm just going to say a few things in the next 3 minutes. Now hand over to the moderator, and I'll bring our speaker up. Do us the honor of hearing his bio, and our speaker will be here. So yesterday, before the session started, I remember teaching us how to learn. Yesterday, I remember teaching us how to learn. How that, if you don't know how to learn, yeah, you can waste many precious opportunities, right? Because we were created learning beings, right? Learning beings, learning creatures. We are learning creatures. There's one thing that is constant about it, the human species, that we are always learning. We are not omnipresent. We are not everywhere omniscient. Yeah, omniscient is all knowing. So we are not omniscient, we are always learning. So it is wired in us to always learn, right? But a lot of us are not conscious of this attribute, this quality. And so we don't maximize it, we don't harness it, right? Thank you, Olamide. I thought about energy, time, and attention yesterday, that every time you sit under anyone to learn, you must see yourself doing business. You are actually doing business. Where is the money? Where is the product? Where is the service? I'm going to show you, right? Every time you're sitting, as you're listening to me right now, you're doing business, right? And it's not the business of money, right? It's the business of life, right? And the currency you are spending is energy, time, and attention. I know I'm doing this again, but I'm repeating. I could have just moved past it, but I'm repeating this again so that it sinks. It enters your subconscious, right? There are three currencies every one of you are spending here tonight, including the speakers and the moderator and myself. There are three currencies you're spending here tonight. Number one of them is energy. It takes energy for all of you to be here tonight. Without energy, you are not going to be here tonight. So, energy. You're spending energy here tonight, right? That's why when you're exhausted, when you're very tired from a long day, you can say something like, I am spent, meaning that there was transaction. As you went through your day, you were exchanging your energies for many things. And for a lot of people, they exchange their energy for many unprofitable activities. And so the result of that trade is a loss. You don't want that to be your experience tonight in this session. Trade your energy for value. As the speakers will be ditching out value, right? Make sure that you are trapping those value, right? Maximize your energy. That's the number one currency. Number two currency is your time. Time is a currency. That's how you can spend it. We spend time. So you're here tonight, you're spending your time, right? So maximize that time too. Then number three currency is attention, which is like the most important of all to pay attention to, because no matter how much energy you spend, no matter how much time you spend, if you don't pay attention, you can't make sense out of your energy and time spent, right? Because paying attention is how you have best wisdom, is how you have best understanding from whatever learning experience, right? So you don't want to, which is where, multitasking comes in. You don't want to multitask this night. You don't want to be cooking. You don't want to be watching movie and you're in this session together. Don't do that to yourself. If you want to watch movie, stay on movie. If you want to stay here. Okay. So, yeah. So, it's important that you pay attention tonight. Everything you're going to be hearing, right, has the potential, right, to shift something in you for the better, for the best, right? But that will not happen if you don't pay attention. If you don't pay attention, you will waste the energy you're spending here tonight. You will waste the time you're spending here tonight. So pay attention so that you can make sense out of your energy, time, energy, time, and attention in itself, right? The way you maximize attention is by paying it to the right things. And I'll show you you're in the right place tonight. You're in the right place. Everything you're going to hear tonight, is capable of changing your life. So I'm going to stop there, all right? So what I want you to do, if you're on this live session, copy the link of this live session right now. Go ahead and post it on your status, post it on your WhatsApp community, share it to that friend, who needs to be here so that nobody will miss out. So that's what I want to, share with you. So that's how to learn. So how to learn is by, paying attention, while you spend energy and time. That's how you maximize learning, because you will have best understanding and wisdom that you can now apply, and your life will be better for it. So God bless you. God bless you all. So I'll be handing the mic over to the moderator for tonight. She's no other person than Rhoda Degboye. So please, you have the stage now. You can take the mic and let's see your face.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. We can hear you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Creative Exodus 2026, this day two. My name is Rhoda Degboye, by the way, and I'll be moderating this wonderful section. Uh, I think one of the things Mr. Moses highlighted was the fact that we need to bring in a lot of energy into picking a lot of things from everything that's been taught. And I think one of the ways you can actually grow very well is by picking important things and practicalizing it. As of yesterday, the speaker said a lot of things, and it's one thing to hear it and note it down. It's another thing to pick what was thought and practicalize it, right? So I want us to please take note of the things that are being taught tonight, and please let's maximize every opportunity that we have to. We are young, right? And it's very important that at this time we get to leverage on a lot of things and just build from it. So yeah, so my name is Rhoda Digboye, by the way, and I will be your moderator for this section. And it's very exciting. It's truly inspiring to have everyone tonight. You are an amazing guest, and we do not take it for granted. Thank you so much for joining this section. So tonight you'll be learning meaningful things. I think, one of the quotes I learned last year was that it's the literate of the 21st century are not those that cannot read and learn, but those that are unable to unlearn, learn, and relearn. So if you are unable to learn, unlearn, and relearn, that makes you an illiterate. So in this 21st century, it's very important that you learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. So that's why we brought about this section tonight. So let me just dive into it. Our topic for tonight is navigating influence as a creative, the why and the how. And I would be reading the profile of the speaker so we can bring the speaker on board. But before then, can we celebrate our speaker for tonight for the time he gave us to speak, to come on board, to come and teach, and come and give us things that we can leverage on? Can we just send in our virtual claps? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I would dive into the bio of the speaker. All right. So Victory Elijah Inang, known as the Design Chief, is a Nigerian graphics designer, educator, and community builder, shaping the design space across Africa. As lead trainer at the Professional Smartphone Masters Academy, he has trained over 1,250 students through his flagship smartphone design program. He is a brand strategist and design coach who has worked with 50 plus brands across 6 countries and trained creatives in over 12 nations. I think that alone deserves a lot of claps, right? 50 brands across 6 countries and 12 nations. Please let's celebrate our speaker, equipping them with practical skills in visual storytelling, pricing, and business of design. He is also the founder of Creative Stripe and convener of Designers Hangout, fostering growth, mentorship, and collaboration among designers. A dynamic speaker and facilitator, Victory has featured on 30 plus platforms and led programs like the Business of Design and Pricing Your Graphics Design Skill. A graduate of Courtney Leadership Center, he is committed to helping African designers build profitable, principled, and globally competitive creative businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy carrying a bar, please let's welcome our speaker for tonight. Hi, Victory. You have the ground.
Hi guys, good evening. This is Victory EY, lead designer at Creative Design Brand. And I think this should be my second or third time showing up for Creative Exodus. And Moses, I must say that you are doing an amazing work. I don't know how you are able to do this consistently for 3 times. It is not easy. And I am super excited to be. It never just happened to you, Moses. It never just happened to that guy. All
This is
right.
Nigeria. This is Nigeria.
So be like me. I'm not in Nigeria. I have studied like. All right, guys. So I'm super excited to be here tonight. And tonight I'm going to be talking about a very important topic. I think since the beginning of last year, I have been so big on this particular topic. But before I start, I want to tell you a quick story. So there was a man. There was once upon a time there was this man. He owned two clocks. I mean, one was excellently beautiful. This clock was so attractive and it was placed in his parlor. And then there was another clock that was in his room. Although this clock was dark, wasn't so beautiful, it was old and all of that. But then something very interesting you should know about these two clocks. The one in the parlor, although it was so beautiful and attractive, it was always 5 minutes late. So after some time, everybody in the house noticed that they were adjusting their schedules to that clock. So they would wake up later, they would miss appointments, they would schedule stuff and get to miss it, because this clock was 5 minutes late. But then the other clock in the room, although it was old, it was always accurate. And after some time, they get to understand, they get to find out that the beautiful clock, although it was so beautiful and attractive, was influencing them wrongly. And they did not know when they started adjusting to the other clock in the room. Now, this is how influence works. And I am not just here to teach you about influence, but I'm here to teach you how to navigate both positive influence and negative influence. Everybody is an influencer. You are influencing people's decision in one way or the other. And yet, this is a very important topic because here's the thing. In the next coming years, if you do not start building your influence intentionally, in the next coming years, you would have to pay heavily to the people who are taking building influence seriously. Everybody needs influence, okay? Everybody needs influence. Everybody wants attention. Trust me, everybody wants attention, but very few people have influence. Very few people command influence. We're in a generation, or we live in a generation, where a person can go viral in a night. I can remember when one of my posts on Facebook hit over 1 million views in less than 30 days. And guess how I think by that time I had close to about 2,000 to 3,000 followers in 3 days. Okay, so we live in a generation where people can go viral overnight and become irrelevant the next morning. No, views are common, but influence is definitely real. Okay, today many people are confusing visibility for influence. Now, before I continue, I just want to quickly pause and redefine the concept of influence. Influence is not, or influence or being an influencer is not necessarily one with a lot of followers. Many people confuse following, many people confuse virality for influence. So the moment I have 39,000 followers, somebody feels like I am an influencer. Tonight, just before I joined this class, there's a particular lady I've been chatting with. I recently connected with her in Calabar, so I've been chatting with her. And then she just screamed, hey, well, I never knew that I've been chatting with an influencer. And then I smiled and I said, why is that? And then she said she was speaking with her brother, and then her brother been saying a whole lot of stuff about her. Now, people get to confuse numbers and confuse all of these things with influence. But followers are easy to buy. Trust is expensive. Okay, today many people are confusing virality or visibility with value, but that is not what it is. Influence is deeper than just being known. You can have millions of followers, but do not command real influence. Influence is when people trust your voice. Influence is when you are able to speak and people are quiet and listening to you. Influence is where you say something and people can say yes to it, or people can respect the fact that you are speaking. People act because you spoke. People become better because you are in the room. People become better because the direction or the decision is coming from you. So if you do not understand this, you will just take just anybody who has numbers as influence. In fact, we even live in a world now that people can literally buy followers just to feel like influencers. People can train in 1 second, and in the next moment, nobody is listening to them. The people who are commanding real influence are the people who, in years to come, months to come, people still respect, people still value them. There are a couple of persons that if they walk into a room now, no matter what you are doing, you will definitely leave it to listen to them. Because they are not just about numbers, they are not just about virality, but they are giving real value. You cannot talk about influence without talking about value. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot talk about influence without talking about value. So before the subject matter influence is um, before you talk about the subject matter influence, you have to first of all talk about value, because every other thing we'll be talking about tonight is centered around value. Okay, so this is influence. When your presence carries attention or commands attention, that is your influence. When people can trust your voice, that is your influence. Influence is not just when you blow on Facebook or you made a viral post and it starts trending and all of that. So what is influence? I'm going to go about it again. Influence is when your ability to share thoughts, your ability to affect people's thoughts, your ability to affect people's decisions, your ability to affect people's emotions, the ability to affect people's actions. So if I can make you do a particular thing right now, even if you do not, maybe in a normal, not just anybody can make you make such a decision, and I'm able to make you make that decision, I have influence over you. Okay. And you might not even know that you are commanding influence in one way or the other. I can remember back then in school, I studied automobile engineering. And in my department, we had basically boys. We never had a single girl in our department. So by that time, I used to pay a whole lot of attention to my hair. So I used to relax my hair, put a lot of hair treatment, palm my hair and all of those stuff. And a lot of persons also copied that in my class. And then one day I woke up and I decided that I was going to remove everything, just leave my score like that. And when I did that, in less than a week, a lot of guys started or stopped treating their hair and went back to low cut because I was barbing low cut as at that time. So I influenced a whole lot of them up to their hairstyle. Okay, and when it was time for me to change back to another style, they also did the same thing. Now, why was that? Because in my classes at that time, I had a lot of influence. I could wake up someday and I'm teaching them one thing or the other, probably teaching them technical drawing, teaching them one stuff I know and the other. And because of that, I had their attention. Anything I do felt like this is the right thing. This thing this guy is doing is actually the right thing, and I have to do it as well. Influence is leadership without force. The moment you are able to lead people to make some choices, to make certain decisions without having to force them. There are people today who are controlling people or making people to make decisions, not out of real influence, but forcing them to make those decisions. Okay, the most powerful people in the world are not the richest people. The most powerful people in the world, they are not the richest people. If you think you have to or you need to have all the money before you become influencer, then you are wrong. I listened to a story of a pastor, and then in his story, he said that there was a certain time he went somewhere, and then there is this billionaire who drove in with a Rolls Royce. And people didn't celebrate him that much. But the moment he stepped in there, come and see how a lot of persons were coming to meet him, shouting, "Oh, sir, your content on Instagram has been blessing my life for you." That is real influence. So the first man has a lot of money. I mean, you should know how much it costs to afford one single Rolls Royce. This man had a Rolls Royce, but never had real influence, could not command people's attention. Okay, but then this other man came in. On his foot, he never drove any car to come in. And then people were rushing to salute, to grace, to give him gifts, and to celebrate him. Why? He has real influence over these persons. Okay, so he has real influence over this person. There are people who can shape. Now, the real people, the people who are commanding real influence are the people who can shape people's beliefs, shape conversations, shape thought, culture, behavior, and perception. If you can shape how people perceive different subject matter like life generally, if you can shape how people perceive wealth, finances, and all of that, you are indeed an influencer. If there is a room full of people and these people believe that, oh, after years, we are stuck, or probably we do not know where to go from here, or how is it going to be after now, do we even have hope of living and all of that? And then you come into the same room and then you can speak to them and then change their perspective about life, show them that there is a better way to think, or there is a better way to command better results and leave the position that they are currently. You will automatically earn their respect. You have impact over them, or you make impact over them, and at that point it is easy for you to influence them. So you can easily, you can easily say a thing and they would follow. See, even if you share little information on your status, people become better through those information that you are sharing. You have real influence over them. Having it, see, like I said before, and I'm going to say it, and I want you to live with this stuff tonight. That you do not have hundreds of thousands of followers doesn't mean that you completely lack influence. Do you know that some persons are on this live chat because I'm the one speaking? That's real influence. Probably they probably would have lots of stuff to do. Many of them might want to sleep, or they're just coming back from work, they are tired, or probably they had their day planned out. But look at how I caused a creative disruption to their itinerary just because it is me. So you have, at any level in life you are, you can and should command real influence. Now, the goal is not to be satisfied with the level of influence that you are currently commanding, because with time you would notice and you would see that if you do not command a certain level of influence, life is going to play you down. You would have to pay literally for everything. You have to pay for everything. You always have to pay. You always have to pay with your money. You always have to pay with your time, your resources, your energy. Okay. You always have to pay the people who have spent the time, the resources, the trust to build real time influence. Okay. So you always have to pay people who have taken their time, their energy, their communities to build real time influence to get what you want. So the question is, do you have influence? The question I want to ask you today is, do you have influence, or who do you have influence over? Who do you have influence over? So here's the biggest lie about influence. Partly, here's the biggest lie about influence. So many people think that the moment they become famous, they are influential, or the moment they are able to get verified badges across their social media platform, they have become influential. Or the moment they blow online, maybe the algorithm favors their post and it goes viral. They think automatically that they have become influential. So you can see people clapping, applauding, and here's the biggest deceit. People equate applause to influence. People equate applause to influence. Maybe you're a designer, you posted one fine design and it went viral, and people are calling you about designer, and all of those stuff. You started carrying yourself in a certain way. You already started seeing yourself in a certain way, and you feel like, oh my God, this is it. I've gotten to the peak, and you can even start comparing yourself to the people who have real influence. But time tells. Time differentiates the people who really took their time to create new influence and people who are riding on the wings of algorithms. I hope you are following. If you are following, I need you to type I am following in the comment section. Okay, so I would like us to pause and do something. If you know you've not posted about this on your status, you should watch and post it so that your friends can be here and listening and learning the same and getting the same information that you are getting this night that is about to change your life. Okay, so People think when they are wealthy, automatically influence follows that, but they are wrong. Influence starts the moment people begin to observe your consistency. So influence and consistency goes hand in hand. But then what you're consistently doing matters a lot. Influence and consistency goes hand in hand. But then what you're consistently doing matters a lot. Your lifestyle can become and it can be influencing people. The way you live is basically, I mean, that's the basic form of influence. There are people who can, there are a lot of persons look up to you in different folds, in different settings. People look up to you. So your lifestyle is automatically influencing them. My brothers are very close to me. Do you know that I have observed that many of the things that they do, many of the ways they carry themselves, is because they see me carrying myself in that way. Many of the way they speak. I mean, I've had a couple of my friends say that, oh, I spoke with your brother, and man, you really, really influenced that guy. That is because my lifestyle is the greatest form of influence you can think about. Your words is influence. Okay, your habits influences, your reactions influences. So you need to watch everything that proceeds from you. You need to watch everything that comes out of you. Your lifestyle, your words, your habits. Now, the biggest hack, should I call it hack, or the biggest knowledge you need to have about influence is that influence is not about you. The day you start commanding new influence is the day you change your mind, change your perspective from you to others. We were not created for ourselves. If you're a Christian, you did not receive salvation just for yourself. Anything that happens to you, money, wealth, influence, everything that happens to you was not for yourself. You will start living your best life when you stop living for yourself alone. People who live for themselves, in fact, how can you even live for yourself alone? That is the greatest degradation of essence. The greatest degradation of excellence is living for yourself alone when you can live for the world. Every great person you know, like, and celebrate today are people who did not live for themselves, are people who died because, or who lived, let me not say died, people who live to, who live not just for themselves, but for the world. Not just for themselves and their family, but for the world. Nelson Mandela, mention their names. There's a list of people who you can see and follow as models who did not live for themselves. They commanded real influence. In fact, their influence is in such a way that mention their names anywhere and everywhere. If anybody in that place do not know their name, then the person is a victim. What's the word? If you mention their names in any circle or in any place and people around there do not know their name, then they have a lot of learning to do. So their names have been spread in the span of time. Why? These people are not or were not just living for themselves, they were living for others. You can see how people can go to a greater extent of sacrifice just to make sure other people have freedom, other people have good lifestyle and good living. So your lifestyle is influenced, your reaction, your even your story is influenced. And that is why if you are writing your story, you have to write it better. Even silence is influence. Very powerful. Even silence is influence. People are always learning from you. People are always learning from you. If you have people around you, be rest assured that people are always learning from you. Most times they might not even look like they are learning from you. Most times they might not even carry themselves as though they are learning from you. But you are the closest handout that they have to life. For some of you are the closest handout that people in your circle have to you. So you should have this consciousness that you are not just living for yourself. There are sometimes that probably I want to step out to buy something and I just want to dress anyhow to go outside. And then it hits me hard, bro. Your lifestyle is responsible. And then I'll go back to change to something better just because I know that people are watching. I know that the people around me are getting better because I am getting better. So People are always learning from you what to tolerate, what to pursue, what to normalize, and what to admire. So at every point in time, you should have this understanding that people are learning from me. You should have this understanding that I am not just learning for myself. There are five levels of influence, and yet this is where it gets interesting. There are five levels of influence, and if you understand it powerfully, you can choose just one level and stay on that. You can actually command the five level of influence if you understand it better. Number one is positional influence. I hope you take this slowly so that you get it tonight. Don't mind me. There's a lot happening where I am, and that's why my eye is going about and all of that. So positional influence. This is influence that you earn because of titles and positions. So let's say when I was in school, I was the general secretary of NIFED, zonal general secretary of NIFED. So that was a height of leadership in that organization. Now, I had a lot of respect from people that were even far older than me because of the position I commanded. So I can put a call through to someone who was 8 years older than me, and I'll tell the person, I need to see you in my school now. And the person enters the road and starts coming. Not because of me, but because of the position I was carrying. So that is positional influence, a title, an authority, a position that you are currently in. Some of you, you are serving in one department, one organization, or the other, and people are literally respecting you because of the position. So your influence is coming from the position. The moment that position drops, if you did not build real value, the influence stops. Okay? So you can, for example, your boss in the office. The person might be far younger than you, but because the person is your boss, you call the person sir. You address the person with either sir or ma. Not necessarily because the person has any personal substance that they are bringing or that is making you to respect them, but just because of the position that they're carrying. I mean, you can wake up tomorrow and they decide to practice. Okay, so number two is personal influence. Number two is personal influence. Yeah, people listen because they like you. People listen because they admire you. They like your style, your charisma, your personality, your humor, and maybe your relatability. Okay, so because you are humorous, because they like you, because you have a certain kind of charisma, people can choose to respect you. Let's take for instance, um, let's say Bella. Bella has a personal influence. He has a personality influence. So people just like the fact that he is who he is. Okay, so if Bella is coming to this city now, if you pull a large number of population that you may not be able to pull, there are some people whose personal influence has limited access. Okay, because they can't just wake up in the morning and start walking on the road. After this place, I'm going to just walk to the car, enter the car, and get to my house. Free of charge. But there are some persons who cannot afford that anymore because of their personality. Their personality have brought a lot of influence to them. Now, this level is very powerful, and you should understand it. This level is very powerful, but it is dangerous because if there is no substance over time, people will shift their attention, people will shift their following to where is louder or where it's loudest. And now that leads us to number three, which is value-based influence. This is the sweetest. I mean, people listen because you consistently improve yourself or you consistently improve their life. So I think this is the purest form of influence. Okay, where the more I listen to a particular creator, the more I listen to a particular pastor, the more I join a particular platform, my life becomes better. This kind of influence never fades away easily. And this is the kind of influence you should focus on building. An influence that does not fade away easily, an influence that is value based. That means they can take away position from you. Sometimes you might no longer be as humorous as you are, or maybe you might decide not to bring out your charisma to the world, but people still choose to respect, follow you, and give you their attention. So this is where real authority begins. When people respect or repeatedly gain clarity, maybe you have a platform that you share solutions, share ideas. So people repeatedly gain clarity, solution, growth, inspiration, motivation, okay, opportunities, and transformation from you. I have different platforms. One of them that is, one of them I show up more consistently is my Facebook platform. And there is no day that passes by without me sharing educational content and motivational content. There are a lot of persons whose life is being affected positively just because they are following my journey every single day. Now, that can only be possible because I am constantly improving myself. That is value based influence. The moment extent I stop sharing value or extent I stop growing, my influence dies slowly. So your voice becomes weighty. There are people who have more money than myself. There are people who have cars, houses, but they do not command the kind of influence I command because value-based influence is the surest kind of influence you can think about. Now let's talk about transformational influence. That is the next one. I think that should be number four. Transformational influence. So people don't just consume your content; they become different because of you. People don't just consume your content, but they become different because of you. Their ideas are reshaped, their identity, your ideas reshape their identity, their mindset, how they think, how they process information, how they make decisions, their behavior, sometimes even their ambition. Your ideas, your content consistently make them change or reshape their ideas, their behavior, their direction, their ambition, and all of that. So this is where mentors come in. Okay, mentors are doing a great job in this. There are some places that there are some places I go to and I don't have to pay for anything. Why? Maybe one of my mentees or one of my students is there. And because they joined my training, they joined my classes, I was able to help them think differently. I was able to help them, grow in confidence or probably even affected their mindset. And because of that, they don't allow me to pay for some certain things that normally I'm supposed to pay for. Excuse me. And then we have legacy influence. When you are able to build systems, teachings, culture, platform that outlive you, that means you don't necessarily have to be present. You don't necessarily have to be present for your influence to continue. So think about an organization or a nation, not an organization, a nation like Christ Embassy or Love World Nations. Now, even if Pastor Chris is not in the system or decides he wants to step down from the nation, his influence has touched many lives, many platforms, many people. So all over the world, people are reading Rhapsody of Reality. People's life is becoming better. People have Healing to the Nation magazines in their house, and they are giving testimonies of healing, testimonies of progress every day, just because someone has built a platform, a platform, a culture, a principle that is affecting the whole world globally. So if you understand this type level of influence and you decide that you want to flow in all of them, you definitely flow. Now here's the danger of influence, and I think I don't have to speak this. The danger of influence in itself is powerful. The moment you start changing people's mindset, people's decision, positively or negatively, you should know that, or positively, let's just take it that. The moment you start changing people's mindset, people's decision positively, they have configured their life to get directions from you. And this is the danger of influence. Let me talk about this first. People can naturally just say, okay, whatsoever this guy does, I will do. So you become the standard for them. And what happens when you become a standard is that people will make decisions, people will build their life based on you that is the standard. So let's say, do you know the moment I start making my hair or wearing rings on my ears, do you know how many persons are going to make that decision? Because They are going to judge that if I can do it, they can do it also. If I can do it, it is not wrong for them to do it. And that is the danger of influence. And then the next one is influence without character is dangerous because influence will amplify anything that you have. Influence will amplify everything that you have. Now, this is what happens to a person of influence. The moment you step into influence, it's like you are on the spotlight. And you know what the spotlight does? The spotlight amplifies everything about you. You cannot hide anything on the spotlight. You cannot hide anything on the spotlight. Now, when you get to the spotlight, you have a bigger advantage because what a normal person is going to be struggling for, you have it, which is access, money. Influence gives you access, influence gives you money, influence gives you attention. These are very powerful commodities and currencies. And then you have it to yourself. You can command it anyhow you like. You can do anything you want to do. You can make people do anything you want to do. And as such, if you don't have good character, this is where it is very dangerous. If there is insecurity in you, influence just amplifies it. If there is greed in you, influence amplifies it. If there is if you lack integrity, influence amplifies it. Because now you can, if you were dealing with 10, you cannot deal with 100 and even 1,000. So if you are not faithful to 10, there is no way you will be faithful to 1,000. And there's always a repercussion. Now, because of time, I'm rushing. How can you build a real influence? Mark the word, a real influence. Remember, I said everybody has influence. Everybody is an influencer. And then I redefine that an influencer is not necessarily one with a large number of followers. If you can affect people's decision negatively or positively, you definitely have influence over them. So how can you build real influence? Number one, and the most powerful. I hope that you leave tonight, you leave this class or this training tonight, taking this thing seriously and diving deep into the subject matter. Number one, build competence. Build competence. Build competence. People may notice confidence first, but you see, what is going to keep them is your competence. Now, let me explain that. I can, if I start posting every single day on Facebook, I am the best designer in the whole world. I am the best designer in the whole world. In the next 30 days, people are going to stop to listen to me. But then, what happens when a global company reaches out to me and says, "I need you to handle our design," and then I am struggling with something as simple as typography and color, or even how to interpret their brand brief to communicate a simple design. So at first, your confidence can make people drawn to you. Your confidence will make people want to notice you and want to come closer to you. But what keeps them is competence. So you have to build confidence alongside with competence. So I can say I am the best designer in the whole world. Am I doing what it takes to actually become the best designer? Am I learning like the best designer does? My work schedule, is it like what the best designers have? So as I proclaim to be something, I need to be sure that when I'm called upon to defend myself, I'll do their expectation. So be competent, read books, buy courses that help you, not just buy, study them, focus on becoming better. Focus on becoming better because you want to build influence that lasts for long, not influence that was just spoken of and then nobody talks about it again. It is done with. Okay, so learn, become, become very good. Know your craft. Emmanuel Akwe will always say, when you know your suya, or sorry, when you know your onions, you will always eat your suya. That means if I am so good, super good at what I claim to be, there is no how you stop talking about me. So study deeply, learn consistently. Don't let people's applause get to your head. When you have 1,000 followers, people will celebrate you. When you have 2,000 followers, people will celebrate you. When you have 3,000 followers, people will celebrate you. And maybe sometimes they might not even be celebrating you because of the number of followers, but because they've watched your consistency. Don't get to a point where because you are seeing the numbers and you are seeing how they are celebrating you, you feel like you've arrived because applause can sometimes put a pause to your life. So don't let people's applause get to your head. When people are applauding you, when people are celebrating you, look amongst them. If there are no kings among them, tell them thank you, take a bow, and keep going. Appreciate them, take a bow, and keep going. Because the moment you start listening to the applause, people only clap for you once. So if they clap for you now their applause is sometimes the loudest, and then you are feeling yourself, oh my God. You need to do something remarkable again for you to end their applause. Number two, be consistent. Number two, be consistent. No matter what you are, no matter the value you possess, people will only see and appreciate your value when you are consistently showing up, when you are visible and you are consistently showing up. Value is only quantified and qualified when it is seen. I'm going to say that again. Value is only quantified and qualified when it is seen. That means if if this thing can solve my problem, and then but this thing is hidden, I am not always seeing this thing. I will. How am I going to pray for this thing? How am I even going to make requests for this thing? It is because it is not being seen. I don't see it, and as such, I can't even qualify or quantify its value. So be consistent. Show up consistently. Many people are talented, but they lack appearance. They don't appear. Only few people get to know about them. Only few people get to know about them. So consistency builds familiarity. If you are consistent, you keep yourself at the top of people's mind. Okay, so trust builds influence, but consistency builds familiarity. So don't never ever joke with consistency. You want to build a brand that is known, liked, and trust. You have to be consistent. Show up consistently. I mean, this is one of the most preached message among creatives. Show up consistently. Okay, so anybody can post for 3 days and disappear. Anybody can show up on Facebook today to wish everybody a happy new month and then disappear. But you want to stay in the minds of your followers, you want to stay in the minds of your viewers, you have to show up and show up consistently. Number three, you have to develop character. This is super important. You have to develop character. We live in a world today or in a world today where people can spend millions developing or looking good. People can spend millions looking good. People can spend millions developing their skills. But people hardly ever spend time to develop their character. I love feedback a lot. And there's this thing I do. Sometimes after every 3 months, I reach out to my closest friend and then I ask them questions like, in the past 3 months, how have I been with you? How have I been with you? What are the things or which area of my life do you think I need improvement? And sometimes it will shock you. You would think you are an angel until your friends start opening up a part of you that is isn't so good or doesn't sound good to the ear. And you need to work on that. So your influence is strongest when your life in the public is equal to your life in the private. When your words and actions match together, you say you are going to do this and you got it done. You are living in a certain way in private and you are living that certain way in public. Have you not seen children back then in school? There was something that was always funny. We knew some of these guys that they don't used to pray up to 1 hour in their room. But when we go for fellowship and then they give them an opportunity to pray, they go one wound us with prayers. 30 minutes and then you will say, men and brethren, we are yet to start. What is we are yet to start? But the same guy or the same people When they go back to their rooms, they don't even pray up to 10 minutes. But then 30 minutes of my time, I have been speaking in tongues, and then you are telling me that we are here to start. So what have we been doing since? So your private life has to match with your public life. Your private life has to match with your public life. Your success does not destroy your humility. So because you are successful or because you have a certain level of results, you don't just start becoming pompous, or you don't just start equating every other person as lesser than yourself. It surprises me or it shocks me when I see people on the road and then I greet them, or maybe I just have a normal conversation with them, and then they say, "Oh, sir, you're so humble. I was thinking you are going to be," and then I'm thinking to myself, because of the small numbers I have, you're already expecting me to act a certain way. No. So your influence should never rob you of humility, should never place you in a place where you are unreachable. Because many of the people who will bow to you, many of the people who will bow to you are not bowing to you because they are nothing. Many of the people who will stand up for you to sit out are not giving you that respect because they do not have anything or they are nobody, but because they just respect the grace in your life. Many of the people who would stand up for you, raise their hands and shout, "Oh, I stand for this guy." They are not doing that because they are lesser than you. They are doing that because they respect God's grace or the grace that your skill or value or even the grace of God has placed in your life. See, I have met people who are far richer than myself, respect me so much that I start asking myself, what do I have? Or what are these people seeing in me that is making them respect me this much? Number five, solve real problems. Help people. Fix people. When people pay you, let them find value. When people come in your space, let them become better. Solve real problems. Don't just be an empty influencer. Solve real problems. Let people become better just like coming around your circle. And I hope you are learning something tonight. So now, quickly, I wanted to just initially my plan was just to come around, talk about this and disappear, but I'm glad I'm talking about this too. So social media and influence. In our day and time, in this time and dispensation, influence has been redefined. Influence has been redefined. I attended a conference where one of the panelists said the reason why all of you are clapping for me is because of what you see on social media and the fact that I'm seated up here to share my stories. Some of you seated there are far better than myself, and it hit me so hard. Social media has redefined influence. People think, people respect number, or people make their decision based on numbers. So you can see someone who has a large number of following come out to say something, and people start adjusting to that. Why? They already equate them to be influencers because they have large numbers of followers. Not everybody has a message. Not everybody has a message. People are performing instead of growing. A lot of persons are performing. A lot of persons are performing for you. A lot of persons are branding. Let me use that word. A lot of the influence or a lot of people you listen to today are just well branded. Thank God for the design industry. The design industry has done a good job, a great job to both individuals, companies, organizations, and the likes. So you see people that are branding without substance. You see people who post every day without purpose. You see people who speak without understanding. So this is the menace that social media is causing in our day and time. So don't become addicted to appearance. Don't become addicted to appearing influential. Don't become addicted to looking influential. Have substance, because eventually your appearance will fade. Trends will change. Algorithm might put your back. Algorithm might decide to spoil your reading. But value will always remain relevant. Value will always and always remain relevant. Now, you will get to a point. in your life where a lot of things will start working to your advantage. The algorithm probably will start running ads, or the community you find yourself in, and all of that. And then the numbers are just flowing easily. My advice to you is that you need to mash up your numbers. If you have 38,000 followers, you should know that a lot of persons are going to give you their respect, first of all, because of the numbers you have. And then they will find a way to draw closer. Let it be that when they draw closer, they will find the same amount, or they will find the same value that they equated from the beginning. So let's talk about how to navigate negative influence. Not every influential voice should get your attention. Not every influential voice should get your attention. A lot of persons are beginning to um, review their life based on how an influencer is living. A lot of persons are allowing negative influence to get in the way. Some persons are influencing fear. Some persons are influencing worldliness, confusion, hatred, distraction. And if you follow them, if you give them your attention, if you submit yourself to be influenced by them, over time you discover that your life is going towards the negative direction. And then the very funny thing about this is that those people might wake up one day and decide to change, and then they will leave you in the dark. I have watched very a lot of influencers rather who stood for a particular kind of idea, and after time they changed. I have found several, not just one influencer who said in this life nothing concern me with marriage. Today they are married. A lot of people follow them there. They say, we say nothing. No man is involved. I want to be single. I'm enjoying my life. I want to be a career woman. No husband. I just want to build a future for myself. They've left them to marry. So you need to know the kind of voices and the kind of people that you allow to influence you. Influence should always be evaluated. Influence should always be evaluated. Influence should always be evaluated. So not everybody deserves your attention. You shouldn't submit your life to be influenced by just anybody, just because they have a larger platform, larger number of followers, and the like. Who you listen to matters a lot. What you consume every day on social media matters a lot. You need to decide to stop consuming some kind of information. The thing is that most of us, we know that this is not really right. But because we see a lot of people moving that direction, we are also trying to move that direction. Who you admire matters a lot. Who you listen to would make a lot of difference in your life. If you listen to Apostle Joseph Seman a lot, your life will take a positive direction. If you listen to some kind of persons who are negative influence to the public space and to the world entirely, your life begins to go a certain direction. Now, here are the prices of influence or the price of influence. Everybody wants influence. Everybody admires influencers. If you are in a space and your favorite influencer comes into that space, your whole body is elevated. Like you just want to be like them. They say a word, and sometimes you're already in tears or you're already emotional. You are just envisioning when can I become this person? But there is a price in influence. True influence has a price behind it. Few people want the responsibility, or few people, run away from the responsibility attached to building influence. Many persons just admire, the end result of influence, but they lack the discipline, the emotional intelligence, the restraint, the maturity, the sacrifice. These are all prices of influence. See, you would have to be disciplined. When other persons are working anytime they like, you have to wake early and even wake with a purpose. When other persons are responding just anyhow, posting anything, and you're not seeing the disease that is spreading around social media, you can see somebody that has not gotten any level of results, giving his own voice on a subject matter. And then you're wondering, what do you have? What level of experience do you have? Who have you taught? What results have you been able to prove that you are adding your own thought to a controversial matter that doesn't even concern you? So would you be able to restrain yourself a lot to be a kind of person that people want to be like? Would you be able to act maturely even when circumstances and situations put you in a place of, would you be able to make some very difficult sacrifices to really keep real influence? The higher you rise, the more people observe you, and the more expensive the price of influence becomes. One careless moment can bring you down. One skeleton can reduce you to or reduce what you've built over time. So you would have to be disciplined, you have to be restrained, you have to have a lot of restraint. You need accountability. Every influencer needs an accountability. Do not let anybody that does not have a father to father you. You need accountability. Every influencer needs an accountability. You have to be matured. You have to make sacrifices. People may applaud your talent, but they trust your consistency, they respect your consistency, and will always, excuse me, and will always follow your consistency. Never. So the future belongs to the people. What is happening tomorrow today? So the future belongs to people who think deeply, who build platforms that shape people's perspective, people's mindset, people's ideology, who create value consistently, who lead authentically, and who inspire responsibility or inspire responsibly. So you need to choose which part you want to belong to. Now, here's the thing, and here's what I hate most. Many persons are comfortable being people's praisers. They are the people who actually hype the real influencers. But you need to make a decision today that you're not just going to be applauding people who are in the spotlight, but you make your way to the spotlight, not for personal gain, but to change the world, to change how people think, how people make decisions, and how people act and live. Do not chase influence to be for yourself. Do not chase influence for personal gain. Do not chase influence for all that comes with it. Chase influence or become a person of become influential because of the people who are looking up to you. Because the moment you start commanding influence, there's a lot of positivity that you can bring to your world. So build influence. The best time to start building influence is now. Very soon, if you do not build real influence, you will most likely face people who build real influence. And if you don't build influence now, you leave all the chances to people who only build negative influences. Money is important, followers are important, uploads are important, opportunities are important. But then the real success is this, that your life, the life you live, really affects people the right way. Now, Pastor Chris defines success in a way I love so much. I love it so much. He said, success is impacting the world with the investment of your personality. So I want you to live here today, impacting your world consistently with the investment of your personality. Scripture speaking, it says, let your light so shine that men will see your good works and glorify the Father which is in heaven. So everybody have light, but it is your decision to increase the intensity of your light and let it so shine that men can see. If men don't see it, how would they know that you are alive? We live in a world full of darkness, and everywhere, everybody is looking for the light. If you are the light, you can easily draw Gentiles to yourself. And if you increase the intensity of your light, you are in the best position to draw kings. And I hope my section tonight really bless you. Thank you so much to the organizers of the Creative Exodus 3.0 and 2026 rather. And I am super excited for giving me this platform for the third time. And I hope that my section tonight really caused a creative disrupt in the minds of the listeners tonight. Finally, I love you so much, guys. There is nothing you can do about it. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. All right, so Over to you, our moderator. I think I'm done, and I'll still be around to take some questions if there's any questions.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a fantastic. That was a wonderful section. I think I learned quite a lot of things, and I would start with the fact that we said influence should be evaluated. Um, I think one of the things I've learned so far and I've experienced is the fact that what that point really hits me hard because I've seen a lot of us get into a result that it's not like overwhelming because the people we decide to like follow does is not can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. All right. So one of the things I've learned so far is the fact that influence should be evaluated. I've been in that situation where I had to like come out of it. I was helped out of the fact that I was influenced by a negative person, right? So honestly, when you said influence needs to be evaluated, like it struck me hard. I think one of the things that actually stood out for me. Influence needs to be evaluated, and also when you were talking about who do you have, who has influenced you, or who do you have influence over to? It really struck me because number one is that we don't get influenced by negative person, right? And two, what about you yourself? Are you influencing people negatively, right? So that part actually stood out for me as well. And yeah, growth over mere performances. Many a times we try to do quite a number of things and there's no growth coming forth, and it's one of the things we need to evaluate as well as a creative. We need to evaluate it as well as a creative. And lastly, before I ask for feedbacks, and if there's a question from anybody, consistency, improve yourself. Consistently improve yourself, build yourself to the point that you can influence others positively. Think as the last 3 years when I was active on Facebook, I came across the design shelf I think Facebook page, and I was like, oh, this guy, and I think I was following at some point, and the influence he had it was not negatively, it was like a positive influence that people could actually. So one of the reasons why we can actually build a name for ourselves is because we've actually like worked on ourselves, improved on ourselves consistently, and that's one of the stories he shared. Said if he says he's one of the best designer in the world, is because he has capacity to command that, right? So one of the things we need to learn as a creative is that we need to learn to influence people positively, and we ourselves, before we can achieve that, we should, number one, we should have worked on ourselves to do that. We should have worked on ourselves to achieve that. We should have worked on ourselves to achieve that. So if is there any question before we call it a night? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? All right. So Jeremy says that mine is the part that it says you begin to have influence when people start noticing your consistency. This is very powerful. Yes, honestly, when people start noticing your consistency, it's when you begin to have the influence. Please, can anyone drop WhatsApp number to all right, so I think you can communicate that with anybody. Do we have any question for tonight? Do we have any question, or do you have a part that stood out for you that we can actually recap on? Do you have any question or any part that stood out for you so we can take it before it takes its leave? Do you have any question? Please do well to number one of the things you get to know that, oh, you really learn from it is because something would actually come up and say, oh, what if what I have in mind is not what he said, and you might actually bring out questions from it. So if you have any question, please do well to drop so we can take it. Please do well to drop so we can take it. So before we round up, I would want to also let us know that Creative Exodus continues tomorrow. It continues tomorrow, and it's a physical event, right? So all those inspirations you've been, these are like tip of the iceberg. So if you are in Lagos, closer to Lagos, Mowe, Redemption Camp, anywhere you are, make it down to Lagos to attend Creative Extracurriculars physically. It's going to be happening in Lagos. I think the venue has been shared on Instagram. Please do not follow us on all our socials. Instagram Shift Events. Follow Moses Jereke on Facebook as well. All right, so I think Great says one of the things that stood out for him is be humble even when you get much influence. Honestly, that's this is what really stood out for everyone as well. You need to be humble whenever you get influence, and I think that's all for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I would love to bring back Mr. Moses Ijereke to round up the session for us. Thank you, everyone. Hello, Mr. Moses. Can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me.
Good evening. Rudolph, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
One of the things he said also is that influence is an amplifier. It amplifies all that you have. So please do all to leverage on all these things that we've learned. Hello, Mr. Moses. Are you back? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
All right. Thank you. Welcome.
Can you hear me too?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. You can hear me loud and clear. I just have about 10 minutes. If you can hear me loud and clear, please, I want to get feedback from everybody. Everybody, just respond. I mean, that was a very powerful session with the design chef. I mean, that was a powerful one. If you can hear me, please drop some comments. Drop feedback in the comments. If you can hear me loud and clear, just drop feedbacks in the comments. All right, thank you, Philip. Thank you, Philip. Thank you. So I want to say a very big thank you to the design chef. Thank you so much for sharing all that you shared. Yeah, influence is a non-negotiable in the days and time we find ourselves, and it's really important. Gone are those days where you want to practice apathy. You can't afford to practice influence apathy. You are muted. I think you're saying something, design chef.
Come and eat popcorn. I want to influence you.
Thank you. Guys, the design chef is inviting you guys to eat popcorn. He cooked popcorn of all things to cook. Bless you, design chef. Okay, so like I was saying, guys, um, you cannot afford to practice influence apathy. I need you to hear that like 100 times. In the age and time we find ourselves, you cannot afford to practice influence apathy. Do you know what an apathy? What apathy means? Apathy is simply you plain indifferent, you sitting on the fence. You don't care. The I don't care disposition to situations to a particular thing. That's what apathy means. If you went to secondary school in this part of the world, you would have been taught in civic education political apathy, the act of showing indifference, plain indifference to the political affair of the society. That's apathy. So in this case now, in this context, talking about influence apathy, I'm saying you cannot afford to play indifference. You cannot afford to practice indifference, like you don't care, as far as influence is concerned. If you are not influencing, you are being influenced. Yeah, it's always happening. It's all around us. If you are not influencing, you are being influenced. If you are not influencing, you are being influenced. Right? The word operates with a network of influence. One thing makes another happen. Right? And the design chef has done justice to, really, dissecting, the subject. But I just need to emphasize this again. You cannot afford to play influencer party as a creative, as an entrepreneur, right? The design chef was given one of the definition he gave. I think he mentioned that influence is your ability to affect someone else's decision. Influence is your ability to um, impact on someone else's choice without force. That's influence. Influence is your ability to impact someone else's choice, right? Whatever it is, without force. So you are not applying force, you are not pointing gun to the person, but somehow, you just want to do the things that they are just interested in doing the things that you're doing, right? You are having effect, having impacts on their conduct, on their desires, on their choices. That's influence. And you need influence everywhere, especially as a creative. You need influence everywhere, right? In business, you need influence. How you get customers to patronize you is because of influence. You may not have 100K followers on social media. You may not have 10K followers on social media, but you must be so convincing in your pitching of value, in your communication of value to your client that you influence them. You are able to influence their decision in your favor. I mean, influence is everywhere. Aside from just going viral on TikTok, going viral on Facebook, going viral on Instagram, influence is a real deal for you as a creative. You cannot afford to be hidden, right? You cannot afford to be hidden. You cannot afford to, everybody type it, I cannot afford to be hidden. Cannot afford to be hidden. So that was a really, really beautiful conversation around influence. Please don't forget this. You cannot play influence apathy, right? Your daily practice for your daily practice of improving on yourself and developing yourself to the end that you are a better person to influence people better, right? It's really, really, really important. I believe somebody is here with me. Yeah, you can't afford to be hidden. In the age and time, yeah, you can't. You can't afford to practice influence apathy. Okay. So it's day 2 of Creative Exodus, and I felt the need to remind us again, because I want to believe we have some new persons, yeah, different from the people we had yesterday, and even tomorrow at the physical event, we're going to have new people there too. So I want to tell you the whole point of this Essence and Zenith conversation. Why is Creative Exodus 2026 tagged Essence and Zenith? And why have we been having conversation along the lines that we've chosen in the last, since yesterday? We started yesterday and today, right? What's the whole point of Essence and Zenith, right? I'm also a creative. I'm a creative entrepreneur, by the way. And by the grace of God, I've been over a decade in the creative space, all right? A journey of learning, a journey of, rising and falling, a journey of ignorance, foolishness, wisdom, a lot of things put together, right? And I have seen myself suffered certain, sufferings and certain seasons because I didn't know certain things, right? Because I was ignorant of certain things, because I didn't practice, I didn't play by certain rules as a creative, right? Because I was not exposed to certain communities, because I I lacked access into certain circles, right? Because I lacked the understanding and the mind upgrade, right? For certain level of result that I desire, right? I suffered for long. I'm telling you, I did. I think in my first 3 years, 3 to 4 years, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was trying doing something, right? I mean, I started off as a graphic designer, designing, then designing, and it was a lot. It was a lot here. But I remember that how I left that space of my creative journey, transiting into a phase that now began to make sense, and now began to make me feel like I think I'm alive. I think I'm doing something worthwhile. I think that, this is what doing as a job, this is what spending my life doing, those transitions, the transition between those two phases, they were not accidental. Even though I couldn't tell in the moment that was what was happening, but I can definitely tell you. I'll come and be lying to you if I tell you that, oh, it just happened. It didn't just happen. Nothing just happened, right? It was, a structural transition, right? It was a structural transition, an intentional transition, right? So it didn't just happen. I didn't just wake up one day and I got my first 1 million naira client. I didn't just wake up one day and I got my first, $500 client. It didn't happen like that, right? It was a journey. It was a process, right? And I've been journeying for this number of years. I mean, I just mentioned it. I've been journeying for this number of years. I've come to realize that the process needs to be taught, right? If you don't learn from somebody who had been through it, you will have to waste your life to learn, to make those mistakes again, right? And you will just waste your time. There's no wisdom in wasting your life to learn to learn in experience what you could learn from somebody who had been through those experiences. So it was all of these thought processes, and by the inspiration of God that we came up with the theme for the 2026 Creative Exodus experience, Essence and Zenith. Essence means the core of something, the center point of it, the importance, the purpose of it. What's the essence of when you say when you're in a conversation and you use the word, what's the essence of this thing? You're literally saying what's the purpose of this thing, right? That's what you're saying. And when you're in conversation, when you say something like, okay, zenith is not usually used often in conversation, but zenith literally means the apex of something, the height of it all, right? The climax. That's what zenith means. So as a creative, as an entrepreneur who is doing business, who is doing life, who is doing, all of the things that you're doing, what exactly is the essence of your journey, right? And what is the zenith? So the essence is why the journey is where, right? So the end point, what's the goal? Where are we headed to? When can you finally come and tell yourself that I'm a success as a creative? How do you get to that point where, or how do you realize you've gotten to that point where you can confidently call yourself, I am a successful creative? And why all of those drama? Why all of those journey? Why should you be successful? Why should you bother yourself, right? So all of this is the reason why we have put together, we have organized together this conversation. And we are not here for just the numbers. I'm not here. I and my team for the past weeks and months, we put in the work, right? We didn't do all of that to come and just see numbers. We want to see real results, we want to see transformation, right? So it is my heart desire alongside my team that every one of you listening to me right now, you will, after Creative Exodus, have a solid understanding of what your essence is as a creative, what the essence of your journey is, why, right? The biggest why, the biggest reasons why you should keep moving forward as a creative, the biggest reason why is you should stay on course, the biggest reason why you should be in the journey, you should be in the game, like some people call it, right? Why? And then the second thing, which is also important, the zenith. Where are you headed to? Where is your direction? right? It was someone who said that speed in the wrong direction is a big disadvantage. If you're listening to me, please, I want to get feedback from all of you. Speed in the wrong direction is a big disadvantage. If you have speed and you don't have direction, there's problem in the land, right? You're going to waste your life, expend energy, waste your time, you know, making movements, but never progress. Please, I want to get feedback, everybody. If you can hear me loud and clear. Don't mind that there's no proper lighting over here. Nigeria electricity is doing what it knows how to do. All right. So yeah, back to my point. So the entirety of you making sense out of your journey as a creative is why we are here at Creative Exodus 3.0, right? You being able to make sense out of your journey. You being able to make sense out of your journey. That's why we are here. So understanding the essence of your journey, then understanding where you are headed to. And yesterday, we had a surreal time. We had a very beautiful time with Mandy. Mandy walked us through, building business systems and structures as a creative, as a rising entrepreneur. And they said a lot of deep things. By the way, you've not gotten, maybe you're not in yesterday's session, you want to go back to that recording. I promise you, you need it like mad, like somebody would say. So, yeah. And then today, the design chef has done beautiful, wonderful justice to the subject of influence, right? And I want to believe that by now, every one of you listening to me right now, you now understand that influence is non-negotiable for you. Influence is not luxury. Influence is a necessity. Every one of you here needs influence, needs to be influential. Not in the context of 1 million followers on social media, which is not bad if you have it, but I'm saying have the substance of influence, have the capacity to affect people's choice, have the capacity to affect people's mentality, people's emotions, people's lifestyle, people's culture, right? A quick litmus test. The design chef is my friend, a very good friend of mine, very, very good friend. He has this language, he says a lot. He says Baji. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly now. Hey Baji, I think Baji is a translation for friend, my friend. I can't remember the language it is now, but he likes saying that a lot. Somehow, somewhere, I just figure myself using that a lot, right? And some of our friends in the circle, right? You could just enter my game, I go to hear, hey Baji. I'm like, what's Baji like? What's, it sounded awkward, but over time, because I was conversant with the whole, usage of words, I succumbed. I adapted without even, I didn't fight it mentally. I'd already started seeing it before I figured, where did Baji come from? And I now remembered, oh, is this person beautiful, right? There was another one, something my pastor says, he says, no challenge. Whenever he's having conversation, you hear him say stuff like, no challenge, no challenge, no challenge, meaning that we're good. We are perfect, right? So I just found myself saying no challenge. And I listened to him a lot. I found myself saying no challenge, no challenge, no challenge. And one day I just went, why, how did you, about after a week, like, I figured I was saying no challenge so consistently, right? Like, where did you find no challenge? Then I traced it. I figured, oh, my pastor says no challenge a lot. That's probably where I got it from, right? Nowhere else. So that's influence, right? As little as that, the capacity to affect someone else's culture, lifestyle, decision, feelings, and the likes, right? And that's why it is non-negotiable for you as a creative. You will carry it into business, you will carry it into relationship, you will carry it into family, you will carry it into every area and aspect of your life. You even carry it everywhere. You need influence. Influence is a need. Everybody type it. Influence is a need. A non-influential human is a powerless human, right? A non-influential human is a powerless human. By all means, you must be influential. And I think you understand my context and concept of influence now. It's not just the social media following. My friend was saying that social media has redefined influence, right? And then we measure it in the numbers, right? Don't be so distracted by the noise that you miss the real deal, the substance, right? The real deal is your capacity to affect another person's decision, right? You are able to affect another person's decision, right? That's influence. So every one of you on this call, you are influenced, right? My likes mandate, right? If you follow me on any of my social platforms, you would have seen it somewhere, right? I'm a godly force of influence, inspiring minds to think, be, lead, and achieve greatness. Influence, influence, influence. You need influence, all right? And in case you think you don't have it or you don't care, I'm telling you, every day of your life, you're a victim of it. You are a victim of influence every day, either for good or for bad. Somebody came up and say, they should stop wearing belts. They call them no belts, no belt gang. What's that thing? And it became the order of the day then. I mean, years ago, you can remember. And everybody started, all the young guys, started, doing no belt thing. They don't wear belts. Influence is a need, right? So I just need you to realize that. And let's come back to what I was saying about essence and zenith. So I think all of this begins to make sense to you now, and this is why you should not miss tomorrow. Don't miss the appointments tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be an explosive time in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. The address is on the flyer. Just go to our Instagram page. You'll see there are a couple of flyers there that already shows the address, the time, the venue. It's already there. So I want to have you in the room. I'm going to be there live physically alongside, the other amazing speakers that we're going to be having, right? And I don't want you to miss it. If you're in Lagos, you want to make it there. If you're in Lagos, you want to make it there. You don't want to miss it at all. And also, I think that this is just so you guys are the first to hear this. If you're on this live and you're going to be present in the room tomorrow, right? One of our partners, right? We got the feedback from them tonight, that there's going to be free lunch tomorrow to the first 200 participants to reach the venue. Now I'm beginning to pity those outside of the country. So one of our partners, Crown Premium Pasta, right? They'll be giving free lunch to the first 200 people to show up at the venue tomorrow. It's gonna be an amazing time, right? Very good. I mean, if you do not know about Crown Premium Pasta, you can check them out. Check them out on social media. You understand what I'm talking about. So, that's just a side tech. I think that's what they call it. Yeah. So, but the real deal about tomorrow is the value in the room. You don't want to miss it, right? The knowledge, the community, the opportunity, right? That being there is going to provide you. I'm telling you, you have no idea how far it can get you, right? That was instrumental to my own journey. So I can't even come and be yapping what is not, right? Also, right? So if you, as you know, Creative Exodus, you are here. You didn't pay anybody money to be here, right? Nobody collected a dime from you, right? And so even though we have a premium ticket offer where anybody who wants to be there tomorrow and have a premium treatment, you can pick up a ticket, right? And do yourself good. But access is free. You literally can come in, just walk in. You've registered already. Just walk in. The team will receive you, and we will have a good time tomorrow, right? So access is free. You don't have an excuse to be absent tomorrow. Access is free. right? And to those asking the question, if we are live streaming or not, we are yet to decide that, right? We have plans to record, right? But let's see how it goes, right? Just try as much as possible to be in the room tomorrow, so that, I mean, you won't have to regret or miss out on whatever is going to be shared. Try your best to be in the room tomorrow, okay? Then also lastly, so like I said, nobody is paying for access, yeah? So if it's in your heart to support what we are doing, you like what we are doing, you feel it's something that you want to have consistently, you know, in later times, please endeavor to reach out. It'll be an honor to have you. Arida, please, can you help us get that link for partnership, sponsorship? So help us get the link and put it in the comments. So you could just reach out, you know, and you could just go to our IG, and there's a flyer there for sponsorship. You get the account details there, and then you can, you know, do the needful if you feel moved to support what we are doing. So just show support, okay? So once again, thank you everybody for coming tonight. Olamide says, I would really love to be there, but the transportation to the place. It is well. That's my song. It is well with my soul. You know, permit me to make an example. You are very hungry, and they served you food. They served food in the kitchen. You're very hungry. You've not eaten in 3 days. And then they made food in the kitchen. You now said that they should help you to bring the food. And the reason why you have not eaten is because nobody is helping you to bring the food. That is only a proof of one thing, right? It's either you are not hungry, yeah? It's a proof of you are obviously not hungry, or you are not hungry enough, right? So that's it. So if you believe that, you know, value is in the room, you believe that, you know, transformation is in the room, and it's a matter of life and death. That's how I address situations in my life. It's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of life and death. Anything that will change my life, I go for it like it's a matter of life and death, right? I don't stay on the fence. I don't rigmarole around it and all that. I don't do that, right? So I'm not saying go and borrow, please. It's no recommendation from me, but I have borrowed to do things. I've borrowed to buy courses. I've borrowed to go to places because I knew that, you know, I'm not going to come back the same man that went. And in no time, I'm going to produce a different level of result, right? From my current status. So, you know what's important to you. You know what's a priority to you. So we wish we could provide transportation from wherever you are, but we do not have the capacity right now. We hope to be able to do that in later times, but we don't have the capacity to provide you transportation. So just try as much as possible. Try to make it down. Okay? Just try. And if you are here, you would like to sponsor, like I said. So the thank you order, the account details is in the comment already. So just copy and do something beautiful. Okay? So thank you everybody for joining tonight's live. We're going to wrap it up here. You're going to hear more, and your mind is going to be your mind is going to be really, really transformed tomorrow. That I can guarantee you. It's going to be physical. It's going to be a real time experience. Okay, so I want to see every one of you there. Let's have an amazing and a wonderful night rest. God bless you. I'll see you at the grand finale, day 3 of the Creative Exodus 2026. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing night rest. Once again, thank you so much to Design Chef. Thank you, Rhoda, for an amazing moderation tonight. God bless you. Real good. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.